Hi, Sue Whale here from the Floristry Trade Club, and we're talking about conditioning gerbera. Now these gerbera have arrived in what's commonly called a racket. That's a cardboard box with holes in it, and the gerberas have been threaded through. So these need to be conditioned. Gerberas need to be conditioned for about 4 hours before actually using in designs. So how do you do that? Well, I have my trusty Dutch bucket. It's in two halves, the base and a top that just slips in like that. So I'm going to condition my gerbera in this bucket. So first of all, I'm going to cut the elastic around the stems, and I'm going to recut the stems. Now these are hollow stems, so I can recut these flat. But the important thing is with your gerberas, when you're conditioning them, is that the heads are supported by the cardboard. So having recut the stems, I'm now going to take the plastic off so the flowers don't sweat, and I'm going to suspend them in this Dutch bucket which I have filled with water, thus. And this will wedge in the top of the bucket here, and then you need to check that all of your stems are actually in water, and if they're not, just top up with a jug, and then make sure that all of your flower heads are actually being supported by the cardboard. So these are mini gerbera, not Gemini for me, I have to admit, pet hate. Mini gerbera. I've got a tall vase, and the vase, and it's only got about 10 centimetres of water in the bottom. This is important for gerbera, because gerbera have very fine hairs on their stem. You put them into deep water, those hairs will encourage the water to travel up the stem into the seed box, and that will let botrytis into your flower head. So, first of all, I'm going to recut the stems, and I'm going to pop them into the vase. Because they're hollow stemmed, they're very sensitive to bacteria, and they can clog up very easily. So I recommend that you recut your gerbera stems and change the water every 2 to 3 days, more when the weather is hot. I just wanted to talk a little bit about wiring gerberas, or to wire or not to wire. If they're properly conditioned, you shouldn't have to wire gerberas for support or control. If you do need to wire them purely for support, please don't push the wire into the seed box, because you're letting a hole into the seed box which allows moisture to get in, which can eventually lead to botrytis and can lead to your flower wilting. If you do need to support it, I can suggest this method. You take a long green wire, you make a small loop at the top, a couple of turns, and then thread your gerbera through the loop until it's resting on the back of the flower, and then wind the wire around the stem of the flower, and then you can use that to control the flower head.